Hi again, welcome back. So I'm now going to introduce just another labelling system that we have for these chords. So we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can also call these the tonic chord, supertonic, submedian, subdominant, the dominant chord here. The only words that are used commonly really are the tonic chord and the dominant chord. We call this the dominant chord because in the key of C it's used an awful lot. We already demonstrated we can do a lot just with chords 1 and chord 5 with the tonic and the dominant chord. One thing that we often do with the dominant chord is we add the 7th to it as well as 1, 3 and 5. So I'll show you what that's like. Now that's the 7th according to the C major scale. This note here is in the C major scale. If it was a G major 7, it would need to have an F sharp here. It would sound like this. But we're staying within the C major scale, so we're using the 7th here. And this could be called the cornerstone of harmony, is this 7 chord here going to the tonic chord here. 5 wants to go to 1. This is my C major chord here. Why is that? It has this interval in it here. This is the 3rd and the 7th note of my dominant 7th. This interval here is, it can be called an augmented 4th or a diminished 5th, or sometimes it's called a tritone because it's 3 complete tones. There's 1 tone, a 2nd tone, 3rd tone that make this interval here. It's an interval, as a child I was taught to recognise this and never ever ever to play it because it sounded ugly. So I was told. And what it wants to do is it always wants to resolve like this into my 1 chord. And that resolving tritone is the tritone which then resolves into the 1 chord. You could call that the cornerstone of Western harmony. That's what keeps on going, that's what keeps the tension going, the tension and the resolution, this chord here. So the first thing to make our little scheme a bit more sophisticated is to say now we have a 1 chord, major chord, minor chord, minor chord, minor chord, 7th chord, a G7, minor chord. Now let's come to our 7 chord here. Our 7 chord I didn't mention before because it's a little bit more complicated and it's really not a chord that's used very much by itself in simple harmony. So it starts on our 7th note of the C major scale, which is a B. Then we have a minor 3rd going up, and then we have a diminished 5th up here. So again we've got a diminished 5th. If this was a regular 5th, a regular perfect 5th, it would be here. So this is a B minor chord here. B major chord. But we don't have a B major or a B minor, we've got a B diminished triad here. So there's not much to say about this chord except that we really don't need it very much. So hopefully this has given you a bit of an idea of what the harmony of the major scale is like. If we turn again to Leavitt's book here on page, where is it? On page 17, I hope you can see this. On page 17 he has a chord exercise. He's going through the chords here: C, E minor, F, C, G7, C, A minor, D minor, E minor, G7, C, F and C, all the chords of the major scale. So I hope it's helpful for you to see just how they are laid out on a piano keyboard. That might help you conceptualize them. And do post if you have any questions or comments. I hope this has been helpful for you. Bye then.